20% of the income that a speaker gets is from their books, and the rest is from their coaching, it's from their workshops, it's from their other programs. So if you think you're going to get rich by writing a book, let me just burst that bubble right now and manage your expectations. Unless you hit the New York Times, even when you do hit the New York Times bestsellers list, that's a limited window. You're going to sell 20,000 books, and guess what? That $20,000 is going to go to replace books and to keep you on the road speaking and doing your next gig. $20,000 doesn't go far, even if you sell 20,000 books. But build a business plan around your book.
Are you confident? Do you have consistency? How much conviction do you have? I'm Daniel Gomez, the Confidence Architect, a business strategist, keynote speaker, executive coach, and best-selling author. On the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we will help you unlock confidence to create consistency and develop conviction. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence.
Welcome to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. It's going to be an amazing, amazing episode here today. I'm super excited, super pumped to bring you the one and only Michael D. Butler. Michael D. Butler is an amazing individual. I'll tell you, I met this gentleman last year in May in Chicago at an event, and I'll tell you what, he just really won me over. You talk about genuine, authentic people. Michael D. Butler is just that and even more. Because what I found out when I became one of his authors, not only does he deliver what he promises you, but he promises you more than you could ever imagine. And he not only delivers that, but he goes above and beyond for that. So Michael D. Butler, welcome to the show. We're so honored to have you here today. Man, it's such an honor. Thank you, sir.
Hey, it's good to be on your show, Daniel. Congratulations on your show and all your success. Thanks for the kind words.
No, man, thank you. Thank you. So, hey, for our viewing audience, tell us a little bit about who is Michael D. Butler?
Well, I'm a single dad of 4 sons. I raised 4 sons. They were 10, 8, 6, and 4 when I became a single dad. And they're now 30, 28, 26, 24. And wow, they grow up fast. And as you know, grandkids are great. I've got a 7-year-old grandson, a 1-year-old grandson, and life is good. And just having a blast. They're in Oklahoma. I'm in Dallas, Texas. So I'm in Oklahoma a lot, seeing them, fishing with them in the lake, and doing fun things with them, just enjoying life and growing our businesses and making things happen.
Man, well, I'll tell you what, I had the pleasure of really not just getting to know you, but something amazing that happened when we were leaving our event there in Chicago. You were like, hey, Daniel, have you ever thought about relaunching your book? And at the time, I had a book called You Were Born to Fly, and it had done pretty good. And one thing, though, that I was really frustrated about with the book is that I couldn't get it into Barnes & Noble. And as many times as I called customer service there with KDP and Amazon, and they say, well, it's Barnes & Noble. So I'd go call Barnes & Noble, and then I would be with Barnes & Noble. They go, it's KDP. So to make a long story short, I could never have a book signing at Barnes & Noble. but when I met you, right away, boom, you just put me into Barnes & Noble. You put me into Books A Million. You put me into just so many stores. I'm even selling books in China. I never thought I would be selling more books in China, more books across the seas than I was here in the United States. So, man, tell me a little bit about that. If somebody is thinking about signing up with any publisher, what is it that you bring to the table? Because I'll tell you, when you did that for me, that was lights out. For me, that was lights out. Not only were you kind of courteous, but you put me in all these platforms. So tell us that if somebody's thinking about doing that self-publish and all they're on is Amazon, what's the benefits with going with Beyond Publishing and Michael D. Butler?
Well, everybody's got a story, and not everybody's story is ready to launch to the world. And there's different reasons that people would write a book. We used to tell stories differently. We used to write hieroglyphics on the walls of caves, right? And then we used to pass down oral stories to one generation to the next and sit by the campfire. And then we used to do smoke signals, and then that evolved. And the way we tell stories is the way we shape future generations. And I tell people that to really find your voice, you've got to tell your story. You've got to use your voice. And maybe our listeners have grown up in a large family where they weren't allowed to express their opinion or to speak. We've got a lot of military families here, and, a lot of dads run their home like they learned how to grow up in the military, and you're not really allowed to give your feedback or be listened to. And so that affects the way we shape our story, live our business life, and manage our relationships, right? But I like to tell people that the world's waiting to hear your story. And the thing about putting your story into a book, it's going to live forever. The thing that's going to happen after we're gone, think about it. People are going to go to a platform like Facebook, if it's still around when you and I pass away. And every video we've ever done, like this interview, every post we've ever done on social media, our family are going to be able to see where we were at 30, 50, 100 years ago to see what great Grandpa Gomez was like. And, to me, I just think that's a beautiful thing, and authors write books for different reasons, right? I mean, some authors, some authors want to just mark it off their bucket list and say, hey, I wrote my memoirs, I'm done. But some business people really use their book as a credibility piece to establish credibility, to open more doors, to get more speaking gigs, to get more interviews. And I think we have to realize that business as usual has changed. The speaking business has changed. Book publishing and writing has changed. And if we're not constantly innovating, we're going to be left behind. I mean, I think of the story of Noah, right? God tells Noah it had never rained. And God said, build this ark 3 times the size of a football field. All of his neighbors are laughing at him, making fun of him. But, he was innovative and he believed the voice that he heard. And some of us, if we'll be honest, we're getting these impressions and premonitions in our heart to prepare for the future. And I tell you, as a father, as a grandfather, I know you're the same way. You like to plan and prepare. And a book's a great way to do that. But as far as getting global distribution, I'll get back to your point. Is
no, but hold on. I want to touch on what you said. Right now, people are listening to this show right now, and they've had that inclination, like you just said. They've had that inclination of wanting to write a book, doing something. They've had that, and they say, well, does anybody really want to hear my story? And the answer to that is yes. You need to stop allowing fear to run your life, and you need to take action, just the way Michael D. Butler just said right now. That inclination, that's your intuition telling you somebody needs to hear your story, because somebody out there right now is drowning. They're drowning, and they need to hear that voice from you, and you're their life jacket. And when you realize that you're their life jacket, everything's going to change, and you're going to take the courage to call a Michael D. Butler publisher and reach out to them and say, hey, what does it take to really write a book? So, Michael, I think that is crucial, because people need to hear that inclination. They need to understand that inclination is their intuition saying, hey, it's time to write that book and take action. And I know that you do, man, you do so much. And I'm being totally honest with the audience right now, because you go above and beyond. You really do. And that's what I just love that about you, because you under promise and over deliver. And that's an example of why you're thriving in the economy that we're in right now, sir.
Well, we are really blessed. And I tell you, I've got a free gift for all your listeners. This is an 88-page book that I wrote called Bestseller Status, Becoming a Best-Selling Author in the Digital Age. You see that golden egg there? And this is one way to lay the golden egg. Don't kill the goose. Keep the goose alive. Keep laying golden eggs. And Bestseller Status, we do a deep dive in 88 pages. I'm going to give you the link. You can share it there. But at beyondpublishing.net/free book, all of your readers can get this. We tell you how to write a best-selling book in 60 days, and we show you how to get it up in distribution globally around the planet and create a bestseller. But you know what, Daniel? 20% of the income that a speaker gets is from their books, and the rest is from their coaching, it's from their workshops, it's from their other programs. So if you think you're going to get rich by writing a book, let me just burst that bubble right now and manage your expectations. Unless you hit the New York Times, even when you do hit the New York Times bestsellers list, that's a limited window. You're going to sell 20,000 books, and guess what? That $20,000 is going to go to replace books and to keep you on the road speaking and doing your next gig. $20,000 doesn't go real far, even if you sell 20,000 books. but build a business plan around your book. Build a business strategy around your book so that you get on stage with the keynote. And here's what I tell people. Everyone, and you did this in your book, every one of your chapter titles, I mean, just like Dress for Success, just like Mentoring Millennials, every aspect of this book, customer service, follow-up, how to be a closing machine, every chapter in this book you could do as a standalone workshop, keynote, or podcast. And listen, if somebody's going to spend $20 in 2 hours with somebody they don't know in their book, you better have 2 or 3 chapters here that jump out at them, intrigue me, grab me, hook me, and make me want to take you home and change my life. And that's what you did.
I love that. I love that. And you're so right. You're so right. You said something that was crucial. The speaking, coaching, and training world has changed forever. And we were on a conversation the other day where we were talking about how a lot of these stages are going to be virtual and in real life, right, at conferences and events. And I'm honored to have you. Actually, you're going to be one of our speakers here coming up July 24th and 25th at San Antonio at the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy. We're super excited. And it just comes to show when you take action in what you believe, miracles happen. And if you've been thinking writing a book, just take action and miracles are going to happen. Michael D. Butler and Beyond Publishing are going to go above and beyond to deliver an amazing product, an amazing book for you just to showcase yourself. And I say that, Michael, because when I got the inclination, like you said, I love that word, inclination. That's my word of the day. When I got the inclination to do the Speaking Academy, I was really scared. I was just like, well, is it something that I want to do? But all I did is I took one step, one action forward. And when I took that one action forward, then your mind came into play. And then next thing you know, it's like, well, is anybody going to buy in this economy?
And now you're practically sold out. So if people don't do it now, I mean, that's the thing too, that taking action, moving forward, having a plan. Because listen, if you don't write the book that God's put in your heart, somebody else is going to do it, right? I mean, people need encouragement every day. A lot of people thought fast food would kill the Italian food industry, but it didn't, particularly during a time of pandemic, right? That food delivery is up through the roof. People are getting food delivered more than ever. You want to make your content consumable. But when it comes to content, we're going to tell you if your baby looks ugly, we're going to tell you that. We're going to tell you if you're writing a nonfiction book, the slowest moving category of nonfiction is memoirs and poetry. If you really want to write a bestseller, create a how-to book. A how-to book, somebody's typing into Google, you have solid information on a topic like credit repair, like raising families, like blending families, like retiring early, like raising an autistic kid. If you'll do that, how to improve your love life, all these things like how to play a saxophone. We're launching a book now, how to play the sax. And so beautiful thing is if you launch a how-to book, you can become a bestseller because on National Saxophone Awareness Day, when the media does a Google search and podcasters do a Google search, they're going to find you and be like, oh, I've got to have you on my show because you're number one of Google on playing the saxophone and learning how to do it from home. If you have a practical niche, and here's the thing too, let's say you run a traditional business, you're in insurance, you're in real estate, you're mortgage, or that type of business, you've got to differentiate. Writing the book can help you differentiate, but tell us why. Give us your why. Tell us what makes you different and give us a hook. Give us some practical takeaway. Because if you're the only insurance agent and mortgage lender and realtor telling me how to improve my credit, listen, I'm not only going to buy your book, you got my business as well.
Boom, baby. That's just a golden nugget right there. Did you hear that? What Michael D. Butler is saying, you got to be unique. You got to stand out from everybody around you. What everybody inside of every one of us, Michael, has something that's unique about us. So what Michael's saying is whether you're in the real estate business, in the automotive industry, if you're a saxophone teacher, whatever you may do, it doesn't matter if you're brick and mortar or if you're online, there's something unique about you. And you need to let the world know about that, because if you don't, you're just going to be in place with everybody. Just what comes to mind right now, Michael, is I had this analogy is just imagine we go to a car dealership and we're looking to buy an SUV, and all these SUVs are in a line. It doesn't stand out, even though they're brand new $50,000 SUVs. There's rows and rows of hundreds of SUVs. But the moment you take that SUV out and they open up the doors and they do the demo and they do the walk around, it's like boom, right? Well, the book is going to be their walk around and their demo, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't, as an author, if you don't believe in your story, if you can't get excited, like Daniel's excited about his message, then maybe you're writing on the wrong topic. So we actually have a free workshop, Daniel. It's called writebook60days.com. If you go to writebook60days.com, we're doing it for the next 8 weeks. We're going to coach you. We're going to tell you if your baby's ugly, and we're going to tell you how to write a sellable book in 60 days. If you just go to writebook60days.com, and we cycle people.
Free? Did I hear the word free? Is that right?
It's a $2,497 value for mic drop. Free. All right. But there is a waiting list, and we did have a couple of people drop out, so we can squeeze a couple of people in. So we're going to take the first 3 that qualify. What it means to be qualified is just make a commitment to us that for an hour a week, you can tune in. Go to writebook60days.com, get on the list. And if you got a nonfiction book, we're going to help coach you to success in that group, and you're going to make great relationships.
Awesome. You know, talking about business, let's do a little shift real quick. You said something very, very valuable that most people that are listening to this show missed, is you're giving this $297 value, true value, because you're coaching. Actually, you charge a lot more per coaching per hour. And because I've hired you to coach me, is that you're giving this for free. So if you're a business owner right now, what are you doing that you're giving in this season that we're in? Because right now, the businesses that are going to thrive are the businesses that are giving more than what's expected, the ones that are going above and beyond for their current clients and then for the future customers that you're trying to attract. So, Michael, do me a favor. If you had to give somebody a word of wisdom right now that maybe we're going through this season that we're going with Corona, we all understand that, but why is Beyond Publishing thriving, and what are you doing that you can share that knowledge with a business owner that maybe they don't have any hope right now? Drop a golden nugget there that maybe will help them to help their business go in the right direction, if you don't mind, please.
Yeah, sure. It's all about planting seeds. You know, you and I both believe in the spiritual principle of giving you shall receive. When you plant seeds, they're going to come back. That not only works when you're doing it spiritually tied to a spiritual principle, but it works in business. And I grew up on the farm in Oklahoma, and believe me, my brother and I had to manage a 1-acre plot of land before we could go swimming or go to do baseball. We had to hoe and till and pick and all that fun stuff that I haven't done in years and never want to go back to. But I'm grateful for the raising that I got on the farm, because I learned a lot. And I learned that if you don't plant, you don't receive. And so being able to, maybe you're stuck in a situation like that. By God's grace and mercy, He's going to provide for you, because you know He cares for the birds. He feeds every living thing, right? You don't have to worry. You can trust Him. But the other thing is, in business, plant seeds. What do you have in inventory that you can give away if you're a business with products? What do you have as far as a service that you used to charge for? Maybe you charge $100 or $200 for. What could you give away? And if you have something that you can't give away that's a big ticket item, then do a sponsorship, do a scholarship. For example, when you go to beyondpublishing.net, you can get a $7,900 full publishing package and scholarship with the book cover design, the editing. We put the ebook out, the audiobook, a full service package. So we've had hundreds of people. By next month, we'll have thousands of people apply for that. It does several things. It's free advertising for you. So if you're in a business, let's say you work from home and you're in a health and wellness, do free health audits. If you're in the financial business, do free financial audits, but then enter people in the drawing. Give away a $100 gift certificate to a steakhouse. I understand you can't give every family that you consult with a $100 gift card, but every week you could do a drawing. And you know what? You could let another business sponsor the $100 gift card, or even the $20 gift card. You could get a sponsor and say, hey, I want to thank Sticker Shock Speaking Academy, or I want to thank Beyond Publishing for sponsoring our Outback Steakhouse gift card this week. Winner is boom. And then free advertising. And then the other thing is, you can follow up with all those people that entered and say, hey, I know you didn't win, but I'm going to do a free webinar for you. And you get on that free webinar, you get on that Facebook Live or that Zoom, and you pay it forward, Here's the thing. If an animal is hungry, they will travel further to feed their children. And when you're hungry and when business is hungry, hey, business is still there. You just got to plant more seeds to get it. And, you know, seeds take a while to germinate and grow. it's about breadcrumbs. So I would say this, Daniel, you've got to throw out some organic breadcrumbs on social media. I talk to people that are like, I just don't like to be on camera. Listen, do you like for your children to starve? You need to learn how to be on camera and give value. If you give value, it'll come back to you.
Yeah, it's amazing you're saying that, because I myself, I had a training that I would sell for like $97, and it's the 7 steps to fly dating. And it was just kind of like my intro, that way people get to know me. And when all this started, I said, well, I really want to give back. And let me explain. When I gave this $97 gift away for zero, the old Daniel wanted to say, man, that's $1,000 after 10. Well, yeah, it is. But check this out. I've noticed that the more I give out there, it's amazing how many new clients have come into my funnel these past couple of weeks, just because of the fact that you're sowing those seeds. Whether you believe in the law of sowing and reaping, whether you believe in karma, however you call it, it's a law of the universe.
Law of attraction, the universe.
Yes. And the more
gravity works, whether you believe.
The more seeds you plant, the more harvest you're going to get. So
that's exactly right.
Saying, and Michael didn't say $79 for the free giveaway. He's giving out a book package, and I'm going to rephrase it, $7,900. It's $7,900 worth of value that Beyond Publishing is giving away, and that's what it's going to take. And maybe you don't have a product of that high value, but like Michael said, look into your business right now and ask yourself, what can I give away that's of value? And maybe it's just some mentoring to somebody. You'd be surprised how some mentoring or some time with somebody on the phone is going to change their life, change your perspective. And for you pouring into them, if you water, you yourself are going to be watered also. And that's not just the words that I'm saying. That's a guarantee, because that's the law of the universe. So awesome, Michael. Hey, well, I want to ask you this. Since this whole coronavirus has started, this whole pandemic, what have you learned personally? And give me one takeaway that you've had just from business and one in your own life. What are 2 things that you learned in this last, I guess we've been in it now for about 6 to 8 weeks, depending where you're at. But what have you learned personally and then also professionally from this? What's one takeaway?
Well, I've learned to go deep just in life and be a thinker. But I'm observing my pastor. My pastor is has one of the largest churches in North America with multiple campuses. And I would say this: I've learned from, the scripture says, learn from the ant, you sluggard. And sometimes I read that and I get up early and I realize, you really can get up early and get a lot more done before everybody wakes up. But I'm looking, there's a lot of churches and there's a lot of school systems and houses of worships that are scrambling because they knew, and had people telling them all along, you should get on Zoom, you should start live streaming. And the thought was, well, if we get on Zoom and if we live stream on Facebook, people won't come, giving will be down. And it's quite the opposite is true. Those churches that were early innovators in live streaming, guess what? Even before the virus, their offerings were up. And even though more people were staying home watching online, their congregations were growing and more people were coming to the brick and mortar building. So as businesses, we've got to innovate. We're seeing business friends, we're seeing colleagues scramble. Fortunately, you and I were a little more out here on the curb, but the age of the internet is young, and there's going to be other disruptions. I mean, there's going to be internet blackouts. There's going to be electrical blackouts on the grid. There's things you've got to have as a father, as a business owner, as a business person, business women. You have to have contingency plans, right? And so you just got to have a plan B. And I got all my family. My dad's almost 80. My mom just had a birthday. She's mid-70s, and we did a Zoom family meeting and getting on Zoom and getting my kids on Zoom because I said, you know what? Hey, if the highway patrol closed down the interstates and we weren't able to travel, we would need to be able to communicate, and we need to have several different contingency plans, WhatsApp, Zoom, different things like that, just in case. And that's what I would say is innovate, keep planting seeds, keep generating content. That's what I'm learning is generate content, all 4 food groups, not just carbohydrates and sugars. Get the veggie and the protein out to your followers, because if you're planting breadcrumbs, new people are going to find you. And you've done a really good job on your 5-star ratings on Google and stuff. Is anytime you coach somebody, you make sure they go leave you a 5-star review. That is so important, and so many business owners don't do that.
Yes. So that was the business aspect. So thank you so much. So what I took away from that was be innovative and always be looking to expand what you're doing. And like Zoom's everybody's using Zoom right now. So if you're not familiar with Zoom, get used to it, because it's a true fact. Actually, 80% of the content right now on all social media platforms is video. So if you're not comfortable with video, you need to get comfortable with video, because you're missing the boat and you're going to be left behind. And as a matter of fact, I had an interesting conversation earlier this morning that the algorithms are changing again on Facebook. And if, say, like myself, I have 5,000 followers, but out of those 5,000 followers, actually only about 2 to 5% actually see your content. So if you have 5,000 followers, that's probably about 200 people, if that. So the more content you put out there with videos and stuff, it's definitely going to just raise the awareness of who you are. In my case, it'd be Daniel Gomez Inspires, and you, Michael D. Butler. So awesome. Well, let me ask you this, Michael. I'm excited about just July 24th, 25th coming up, and I want to thank you for being part of that. And it's a Sticker Shock Speaking Academy here in San Antonio coming up. And I'm excited because, how can I say it? Words can't describe just the way we're going to impact lives. And like you said, you got to innovate. So we're innovating. I did a virtual keynote, my first one last week, and it was amazing. It was on Zoom, and it really took off. And I got to be honest with you. I got to be totally honest with my audience right now, that I was one of those that didn't know, like, man, well, I don't know if I could, how's it going to work? But I will tell you, because there was 50 people in that association, that I had more one-on-one engagement, because I was able to do a Q&A afterwards. So there was actually more intimacy there, and everybody actually put their emails into the chat room. So it was a lot easier to just get people's information to stay in contact with them. So one thing that we're going to go over is just really speaking virtually and on stage, but we're going to provide an amazing speaker reel. So if people have been thinking about coming to the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy, like I said, you're going to be involved in this. What is a word of wisdom, or somebody that's been just holding back? What's something that you would say to that person right now?
Well, we have a couple A-listers that we can't announce yet that you and I have been working on, and so we're very excited that the tools they leave with in their toolbox, because it's all about, the speaking industry took a major hit in 2008 and 9 with the downturn in the economy. And the speakers that innovated then, the National Speakers Association said that 66% of the speaking gigs went away and 66% of the speaking income went away. It eventually came back, but the speakers that innovated in 08 and 09, they're still around, and they're going to survive this downturn as well, because this is going to be a big impact, and we don't know yet how long this impact is going to be. So you're going to teach how to book meetings, how to get meetings. You're going to provide swipe copy on how to follow up with meeting and event planners. We're going to be talking about hosting your own events, negotiating contracts, negotiating so that your book sales are a part of the package, making it easier for an event planner to hire you when they have no money, creating money and revenue. If you can create, we're going to show how to create win-wins. You've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this a long time. Our top speaker at Global Elite Speakers Bureau gets $80,000 an hour to speak on stage. And
80,000 is what you said? 80,000?
80, yeah. 80,000.
Wow.
And so he's kind of recession proof. So he still gets booked all over the world. Even though he's not flying right now, they're not flying. He's doing virtual things. But, Les Brown gets that same amount. He gets 80,000, 90,000, 110,000 if he goes out of the country plus expenses. So if you want to get paid at that level, we're going to show you first how to get paid at $5,000 an hour and then how to go up from there. But we're also going to be talking about the different types of speaking. We're going to talk about how to pick a lane. Daniel, you're going to work with people on picking a lane and fine-tuning it. We're going to work with everybody on their actual speech, fine-tuning, the posture, the pacing, the tone, the pitch, and how to anchor, how to sell from stage, how to host your own events. And so they're going to leave with the full package of how to build the business, and not to mention the photographs, the video, and the sizzle reel that are going to be ready to go live. And not to mention the relationships of everybody coming in all over the world. And I know a lot of the speakers that you're bringing in, a lot of the speakers that are coming, some of our authors have already got podcast shows. So they're looking for guests to interview. So right there on the red carpet, boom, it's going to be a great environment to make that magic happen.
Well, the word that stuck out to me right there was relationships. right now in this season that we're in, you got to collaborate like never before. And I'm not saying fake collaboration, but I'm saying one person alone cannot make it. Even if you climb Mount Everest right now, you can't do it by yourself. You need to have a team at the base of the mountain. You need to have another team kind of up towards the mountain. And then you have a spotter, I believe, that goes with you. I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but even the people that climb Mount Everest, you need somebody to be with you. And right now, if you're in business, if you've been an aspiring speaker, you've been struggling with your speaking engagements, whether you're a coach, author, whatever you may be, one thing I want you to think about this, audience, is that when I met Michael D. Butler, we both paid to go to an event. But I say that because the investment that I made into the conference, it was peanuts compared to the relationship that I have with Michael right now, and peanuts compared to other people I've met. So right now, focus on really building relationships with people. And when you come, I can tell you this, and I'm saying this from my heart, when you come to our events, we really try to go above and beyond, and we go above and beyond. And it's amazing, Michael, because one thing that I picked up from the last couple of events that we had from last year, people said, well, can you have any food? So at this the Success Accelerator, the Business Accelerator, we had food, and I don't know how many compliments I got about the food, but I thought, yeah, so it was just amazing stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been thinking about coming, you definitely need to come. So let's do a little shift here, Michael. Let me ask you this. What's been one of the most challenging things in your life, whether it's business or whether it's personal, and that was really hard for you? And maybe you can give some wisdom right now for somebody, because right now it's a trying season. I'm not going to ignore it. Right now, it's a tough time.
It is.
So what can somebody do? Well, first of all, share with us, what was one of the biggest challenges that came into your life that were tough, and whether it's business or personal, and tell us how you overcame that, and share that with our audience, because I think that in itself right now will help somebody out there, because they need some reassurance right now.
Well, everybody does. For 14 years, I was a pastor and dealt with a lot of stuff. But I think the biggest tragedy, the biggest challenge I faced that ended up being a testimony was our divorce. And then when my kids were young, but then also my number 3 son being faced with leukemia and going through 4 rounds of chemotherapy and acute myeloid leukemia, 40% survival chance. And it was not looking good. That was the most aggressive form of leukemia. I was out of town speaking when the doctor gave the diagnosis, and his mom called me. But bone marrow transplant, and thank God now he's 10 years cancer free. But going through some tough stuff. There's as a father too, we have this provider instinct built within us, and so the fear that takes over because of the fright and flight mechanism that we have, it takes a lot of discipline to discipline the mind, because particularly if you have a spouse or a partner or circumstances that are nagging at you and causing you to be worried about it, and you're getting bills and phone calls from creditors, it's difficult to just back up and say, okay, let me breathe. Let me realize there's things I can handle. There's things I can't handle. There's things I need to give to God, and the wisdom to know the difference of what we can change and what we can't change, right? So doing all we can to take advantage of, if you're a small business owner, SBA loan and PPP loans that are going to be forgivable and things like that, all that's great. But, at the end of the day, the government can't be our source, because there's no, God has to be our source. Or if you don't believe in God, the universe, just realizing that the gifts you've been created with are enough. And all you need is for that day to take care. And one idea can generate a new billion-dollar industry. Some of the new industries that we have are a result of stress and pressure. Most of the billionaires and the new technology were created under intense pressure, under the depression, coming out of the depression, financial downturns. When you look at most of the inventions in the modern technology age were created as a result of NASA going to the moon and our astronauts developing things in space. Intense pressure, intense heat, intense labor created these amazing ideas that brought forth things that are blessing humanity all over the world. So all you need is one idea. You can innovate, you can change a widget, you can do something a little better, a product or a service. But Grubhub's a perfect example. And just think, had we invested in Grubhub, 8 weeks ago, or in Zoom 8 weeks ago, we would all be ready to retire now. So being on the front of that innovation curve. And I want to repeat what you said, though. It does take a team. And you and Madi are a great team. You guys are awesome together. You really complement each other well. And so for single people like me, it's important to have others around you. I've got friends around me and coaches around me that help me navigate and help. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I got to get quiet and ask my heart, okay, how do I need to best prepare? Buy, sell, or hold.
Yeah. Well, that's
or launch a new company.
Yes. And those are words of wisdom. And I think right now, more than ever, if we're in quarantine right now, you need to reach out. What Michael is saying, you need a team. So don't allow pride to get in the way. Don't allow your ego to get in the way. And ask for help. You can't do it alone, especially in this season. And what I would add to that too is maybe you're not used to, maybe you think nobody wants to help you. And I'll never forget at one of our conferences, Michael, actually, that we were there in our women's conference. I was just amazed at all the people that showed up. It was just so amazing because the people that showed up, I asked them to show up, and more people showed up than I ever dreamed of. But it's amazing when you humble yourself and you ask for help, the people that are ready to just go and serve you and help you, and whatever it may be that you're going through, people are gonna answer that call, because we're designed that way. We're designed to want to contribute and to help people, and that's the way that we were created by our Creator. And it's just an amazing feeling when you ask for help. Let me tell you, everybody's there to open up. But you just got to ask for that help. So.
I want to tell you this. Sometimes we spiritualize things and we make them want to happen in a building or a church. But I look at the little young boy with 5 loaves and 2 fishes, and I think he had in his mind he was coming to share some food, because, if he's a 10, 11-year-old kid, 5 loaves and 2 fishes, that's really enough for 3 or 4 people. So he was thinking about sharing anyway. And I've got to think this kid was an entrepreneur. Of course, he knew there was a big crowd there. He was probably going to sell, make some money, right? And this planned ahead. I'm surprised no adults planned ahead. Leave it to the kids, right? Leave it to the kids to get an innovative idea. But notice this, when Jesus multiplied, fed all 5,000 men, women, and children, there were 5,000 men, so women and children, there's probably about 10,000. They took up the baskets that were left over, because here's the amazing thing. When you are doing what you're called to do, and you're spending time investing in the dream God gave you, it's going to multiply. And guess what? Jesus didn't send it home with the disciples or with the families with the most kids. He sent it home with the boy. Think about that. He didn't just send it home with who had the most kids. It was like, nope, this boy brought the food. He had the vision. He had the plan. He planted the seed. Guess what? Everybody helped him carry the food back to his house. You think mom and dad were proud that day? They were bragging to the end. I want you to be just like your big brother. Yes. So what can you do today? Make a sandwich for somebody. Give a donation to somebody. It'll come back to you.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. That's one thing I love about you, and I call that, right? You have to have an abundance mindset. You have to be an increased thinker, and especially in these times right now, you definitely got to get outside your comfort zone, because the ones that are going to stay in their comfort zone, you're not going to make it. You need to get out of your comfort zone. And I want to drop, because what you said was very, very valuable. What you need to do is the more knowledge, the more skills you have, the more income you're going to earn. The more knowledge and the more skill sets you have, the more income, the more money you're going to earn. And when you come to our Sticker Shock Speaking Academy, you're going to learn a lot new skill sets. You're going to learn a lot more. When you write your book, whatever it may be on, you're going to learn a new skill, and it's just going to help you, because people are going to be attracted to you. Because I don't know if this is true in anybody else's life, but in my life, Michael, I'll say this is true. I'd much rather give somebody a book as a business card than an actual business card. And I know there's somebody who are going to come and say, well, I don't know about that, Daniel. Well, I'll even tell you this. I'd rather give a book as my business card than an actual digital business card, because I know that's a hot thing right now too. But no one's going to forget your book, because when they're in that airplane, when they're in that office, and all of a sudden they need something, they're going to turn over there. They're going to see your book on the shelf, and they're going to want to do that. So awesome stuff. So Michael, as we come towards the end of the show, I want you to let us know, where can people find Michael D. Butler and Beyond Publishing?
MichaelDButler.com. Michael D. as in David, Butler.com, and BeyondPublishing.net. And right now, for a limited time, go ahead and go to apply for scholarship at BeyondPublishing.net. It's right there on the main page. You'll see the link. Boom, click, apply for scholarship. Or if you've got a child, or if you've got a friend or family member that you've been telling them for years, you ought to write a book. Wow, you've got a story, you need to write a book. Go ahead and have them fill that out. Get over to us, because you know what? We're going to help you get it out to the world, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to open doors. That's the main thing, and your voice is going to change people's lives.
Awesome. Well, I want you to do us a favor.
Congrats on the podcast, and man, it's just been exciting to watch you blow up and Sticker Shock, and it's been so exciting to watch Daniel Gomez Inspires. And I love how you're really giving back, paying it forward to the car dealerships and to everywhere you go speak, man. It's been awesome.
Awesome. Well, do me a favor for our audience. Leave us with a word of wisdom, if you don't mind, before we end the show today. Give us a word of wisdom, whether it's personal or business. Give us whatever is in your heart. Speak a word of wisdom to us, if you don't mind, please.
You know, I used to live in Orange County, California, and a lot of people remember Robert Schuller, because for years he had that program, the Crystal Cathedral, and he actually started that. I was thinking of him the other day, because the drive-through, there's a lot of churches now that are meeting in the parking lot because of social distancing. And actually, he bought a theater, or rented a drive-in theater, and that's where they defer services. And so now, as you go to the Crystal Cathedral, just a few blocks from where his grandson pastors, but it makes you feel good. I was there a couple years ago, and it was on his birthday, and I did a post on social media, and it's very fitting for today. It says, "Tough times never last, but tough people do." And there's a lot of opportunity around. And I think it's a good opportunity for us as parents and grandparents to show our kids, yeah, we're vulnerable. Yeah, we worry and have fears too. But at the same time, we have a lot of confidence, and they can see that confidence in us. And that's going to make all the difference in the world. Because I think about that. I think about, what legacy am I going to leave when I'm gone? And I think the best thing I can give my sons and grandsons is boldness and confidence and that security.
Man, boom. Look at that. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. Tough times don't last. Tough businesses do. So right now, find that grit. You said that, man, it just went off. I want to end with this quote, is that the great Vince Lombardi said this: the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is not their lack of strength, it's not their lack of knowledge, it's their lack of will to succeed. Where's that hunger inside of you right now? America, the world, get hungry inside yourself. Find that grit within inside yourself. And when you take that action, when you get hungry to want to succeed, nothing can stop you, because a made-up mind cannot be stopped. Woo! What an amazing episode we had here today. We'll see you next week here at the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. Thank you for tuning in. It's been an amazing show. Michael D. Butler. Man, what an amazing guest. Thank you for being here
Daniel,
with us.
Congratulations. Keep it up, man.
Boom. Thank you, my friend.
This is Daniel Gomez, and thank you so much for tuning into our show today. We'd love your feedback. Please drop us a comment, and thank you for leaving us a review. Don't forget to subscribe to our show and share this episode with a friend. And my free gift for listening to our show today is a copy of my best-selling book, You Were Born to Fly. To get your free copy, go to DanielGomezInspires.com and get your copy today. That's DanielGomezInspires.com. And to elevate your life and business even more, follow me on social media at Daniel Gomez Inspires on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence.